Howdy, folks. I am Alan for today's news. I will be reading and speaking about world news, interesting news, news to keep you entertained, and news to keep you informed. And what I got for you here first is from Newsmax. They done a poll about Fox and Carl Tuckerson. Tucker Carlson. Anyway, I said here, was Fox News right in firing Tucker Carlson? 380%. 380. That's 1% said yes. 29,855. That's 98% that says no. Fox was wrong in firing Tucker. He said, in your opinion, was Tucker Carlson fired? Why was Tucker Carlson fired? He was too conservative. 11,252 voted on that. That's 49%. He was too pro-Trump. 3,372. That's 14%. He made mistakes on the 2020 election. That's 740. That's 3%. And some other reason. 7,304. That's 32%. So most people said Fox wasn't correct in firing Tucker Carlson. And the Gus Pasani said he was too conservative. Said, what is your view on Fox News? 6% said it's a good conservative channel. 56% said it's changing, becoming more establishment liberal. 36% said I don't like Fox News anymore. Should Tucker Carlson join Newsmax as a primetime host? 89% said yes, he should. 1% said no, he should not. 9% said unsure or no option. Now let me go to my next one here. This is from Equidia. I get them by email. It says Unicoin, the new digital reserve currency you never heard of.
There's a new digital reserve currency. And it's not just the BRICS currency you've already heard of. In fact, it's a new currency that's meant not just to counter the BRICS, but potentially replace the dollar itself. And it's gained the support of some very powerful people. Read on, because if you learn this now and act soon enough, you'll be ahead of 99.9% of people. The next currency war frontier. By now, most of you are aware of China's plot to de-dollarize the world. For decades, China has conspired to replace the dollar as a reserve currency. And as I recently revealed, it finally convinced its BRICS allies to launch a common reserve currency. This common currency will expected be led by the yuan, the currency of, by far, the biggest of the BRICS economies. But it won't be a fiat yuan. Instead, China will likely seize the moment to deploy its newly developed central bank digital currency, CBDC, called yuan, which has been in development for 8 years now. Not only has this yuan been successfully rolled out domestically, but since last November, it has settled over $20 million in cross-border transactions using China's SWIFT-like clearing system. Via our pass. Last week, China successfully completed a 40-day trial using its digital currency to settle cross-border transactions with Hong Kong, Thailand, and the United Arab Emirates. The trial processed over 160 payments worth $22 million, all in real time. Those transactions came through the so-called MCBDC bridge.
And you can read the rest of this in my description box if you like. The next one I'm going to go to is from Axis. Reverse ATMs take bills, dispense cards as stores go cashless.
As stores and restaurants attempt to go cashless, they're installing reverse ATMs that dispense stored value cards in exchange for greenbacks. Why it matters. More businesses are issuing cash, a trend accelerated by the pandemic, but states and cities are passing laws banning them from doing so, in deference to people who don't have bank accounts or credit cards. Handling cash is also a hassle for retailers, with problems including theft and constant runs to the bank. Driving the news, reverse ATMs, also known as cash-to-card kiosks, are quickly being installed in all manner of venues that want to go cashless without flouting the law or turning away the unbanked, who represent 4.5% of Americans, per the FDIC. Amusement parks, casinos, and sports stadiums are taking the lead. Reverse ATMs have been installed at most Major League Baseball and National Football League ballparks, plus cashless attractions like Hershey Park, Six Flags, and many water parks. Cash digitization is the term that's catching on for converting cash to electronic currency, which is increasingly necessary as transit systems and other public accommodations also go cashless. What they're saying: this is a competitive business, says Noshirvan Beg, a partner and business development executive at WaveTech, a Toronto-based company that sells reverse ATMs under the brand name Azimuth. Cash carries a lot of friction, right, he tells Axios. Many venues are willing to pay for the machines because for them, the bigger pain point is taking the cash. How it works: to use a reverse ATM, a customer feeds cash into a machine and gets a prepaid plastic card in return. Here's a video. Most of the machines don't charge fees to buy the card, though some do, typically $5. While some cards are venue-specific, generally you get a Visa or MasterCard that may or may not be reloadable. When a customer uses the card, the merchant bears the interchange fee charged by Visa and MasterCard, just as they would with any other card under those brands. Yes, but some of the cards carry dormancy fees, such as a $3.95 charge if the card isn't used for more than 3 months, and it may be hard to use up the card balance if only a small amount is left.
So there's more to read about it if you want to read the rest of it. Anyway, let's go to the next one here. This is from Newsmax. Murdoch's SkyNews Australia. Tucker Carlson thought he was bigger than Fox.
Fox News and the Murdochs are offering the clearest explanation as to why they fired top-rated host Tucker Carlson, using their wholly owned television news outlet in Australia. On Tuesday, Sky News Australia, owned by Fox sister company News Corp, came out swinging about Tucker Carlson's removal, reporting he was sacked essentially for thinking that he was bigger than Fox News. One of Sky News' biggest anchors, Andrew Bolt, shared the news report, claiming Fox CEO Lachlan Murdoch alone made the decision to axe Carlson alone. The Sky News report contradicts some U.S. news sources claiming Father Rupert Murdoch had made the decision. Important: billionaire Soros has been targeting Trump, he is not alone. The message is now out, Bolt said during his program Tuesday. If you threaten your station or your newspaper by going a bit nuts, saying all sorts of wild things that maybe are false or maybe you haven't even bothered to check enough, it doesn't matter how big you are never bigger than the media organization that actually made you. Fox News is part of the Murdoch media empire that includes Sky News, Bolt added. Tucker was actually sacked, and some outlets have reported just before I went to air, he was sacked by Lachlan Murdoch, the day-to-day boss of News Corporation. Fox News has lost other giants before, said Bolt, including Roger Ailes, Glenn Beck, Megyn Kelly, and Bill O'Reilly, and it's only gotten stronger, but still, maybe now some other hosts, and not just Fox News, will realize it is Lachlan Murdoch who runs the business and it's not them. Bolt also noted the $787.5 million Dominion lawsuit settlement, which happened because some Fox News hosts have gone nuts pushing the fake news that Donald Trump was beaten at the last election by voting machines that are somehow been rigged, but said that Carlson did not push that lie like some other people at Fox News. He was skeptical, but the court battle with Dominion Company that made these voting machines revealed that he did know those machines, they weren't rigged, and the lie was a lie, yet he still told another host that her producer should be fired for saying so, said Bolt.
I don't trust those voting machines anyway. I never did. Everything can be fixed. Anyway, this is from SkyNews, was owned by, was a part of Fox News, so you can't believe everything that this news station is saying. They're going to stick up for Fox News and Murdoch. So let's go to the next one here. Okay, this is from the Wall Street Journal. Tucker Carlson speaks out in Twitter video 2 days after ouster from Fox News.
Former Fox News host Tucker Carlson spoke out Wednesday night, posting a video on Twitter where he criticized the level of debate on television shows and said there are few places where truth is told. Where can you still find Americans saying true things? There aren't many places left. But there are some. And that's enough, he said in a 2-minute video. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. See you soon, he said at the conclusion of the video, which was shot in his home studio. Mr. Carlson declined to comment. The video marked Mr. Carlson's first public comments since his sudden departure from Fox News on Monday. The network said it was parting ways with him without giving a reason. The Wall Street Journal reported that the discovery of private messages in which Mr. Carlson showed disregard for management and colleagues was a major factor in that decision. Mr. Carlson's messages were part of a trove of emails and texts from Fox executives and hosts that came to light as a result of a defamation lawsuit against Fox filed by Dominion Voting Systems. The voting machine company accused Fox's news networks of airing false claims by hosts and guests that Dominion helped rig the outcome of the 2020 U.S. presidential election in favor of Joe Biden. Fox News parent Fox Corporation last week agreed to pay $787.5 million to settle the dispute. Fox Corporation and Wall Street Journal parent News Corp share common ownership.
So Wall Street is part of Fox Corporation too. You can't trust Wall Street. You can't trust Wall Street, Fox, or Sky News. And there's more out there. Let me see if I can refresh this video here.
He was shocked by Tucker Carlson's sudden departure from Fox News. Trump shared his thoughts on the Fox News host's departure during an interview with Newsmax.
Well, I'm shocked. I'm surprised. He's a very good person, a very good man, and very talented, as you know, and he had very high ratings. So we're just learning about it almost as we speak.
Trump added he's unaware of the circumstances behind Carlson's exit. Meanwhile, the news of Carlson's exit has sent shockwaves through the media and political ecosystem, since Carlson is one of the most widely watched and influential figures in cable television.
Yeah, I heard Fox News, I lost a lot of money, a lot of viewers too. Let me go on to the next one here. This is from Fox News. Sorry for that. Anyway, it says Biden caught with crib notes, detailing reporters' question prior to calling on her during press conference.
President Biden is no stranger to detailed cheat sheets when speaking to the press, but the president's team seems to have taken things up a notch after he revealed a pre-written question from a reporter during Wednesday's press conference. As Biden spoke alongside South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol in the White House Rose Garden, a photographer captured a small cheat sheet in the president's hand signaling he had advanced knowledge of a question from LA Times journalist Courtney Subramanian. The small paper also included a picture of the reporter along with the pronunciation breakdown of her last name. Question number 1 was handwritten at the top of the sheet, indicating the president should call on her first at the conclusion of his remarks. How are you squaring your domestic priorities, like reshoring semiconductors manufacturing, with alliance-based foreign policy? Read the question in Biden's hand. The reporter, who was in fact called up first but whose last name was omitted by the president, asked Biden, "Your top economic priority has been to build up U.S. domestic manufacturing in competition with China, but your rules against expanding chip manufacturing in China is hurting South Korean companies that rely heavily on Beijing. Are you damaging a key ally in the competition with China to help your domestic politics ahead of the election?" A separate paper in Biden's hand revealed the names of administration officials in the order of their remarks. Both cheat sheets were dated April 26, 2023. Biden has been ridiculed for relying on detailed cheat sheets in the past, with critics calling them an indication that the White House has lost faith in the 80-year-old commander-in-chief amid concerns about his mental acuity. Last March, Biden displayed a list of prepared answers during a White House news briefing after his "This man cannot remain in power" comment about Russian President Vladimir Putin, which raised questions about his support for regime change in Russia. In June, reporters captured a cheat sheet at a White House meeting with cabinet members detailing specific instructions for the president. "You enter the Roosevelt Room and say hello to participants," the first bullet point read. "You take your seat." After a bullet point that said, "Press enters," the next one read, "You give brief comments," with a parenthetical statement reading, 2 minutes. Biden ended up speaking for roughly 8 minutes. The final bullet points read, "You thank participants and you depart." A month later, Biden accidentally revealed a note from an aide to the camera that informed the president that there was something on his chin. Biden has also embraced the practice of relying on a predetermined list of reporters selected by his staff early in his tenure instead of calling on them spontaneously during exchanges with the press.
See, Biden is nothing but a puppet. Others are telling him what to say and what to do. Biden have no mentality. Let me go to the next one here. This one here from the Telegraph. Russian troops digging trenches in Ukraine reportedly infected with anthrax.
Russian troops were reportedly infected with anthrax after unearthing a burial site for cattle while digging defensive trenches in southern Ukraine. The unit was ordered into immediate quarantine after doctors diagnosed cases of the deadly disease in at least 2 soldiers, according to Ivan Fedorov, the exiled Ukrainian mayor of Melitopol. 2 Russian servicemen were admitted to a hospital in Melitopol, which has been under occupation since March last year, before being discharged and sent to an unknown location, Fedorov wrote on the Telegram messaging app. "The enemy unit is now in quarantine," he said. 2 Russian servicemen were first brought to Melitopol Hospital, but after the diagnosis was confirmed they were quickly discharged and taken to an unknown destination. The Russian unit was probably digging trenches as part of an effort to reinforce their defenses in the Zaporizhia region, ahead of the long-awaited Ukrainian counteroffensive.
And there's more to read here if you want to read the rest of it. I'm going to the next one here now. This one here from Business Insider. Videos capture Russian MiG-31 jet bursting into flames before it crashed into a lake.
A Russian interceptor aircraft crashed into a remote area in northwestern Russia on Wednesday. Both pilots ejected before the MiG-31 went down, and there were no report of civilian injuries. The accident comes just days after another jet accidentally bombed a Russian city. A Russian MiG-31 fighter jet crashed in a remote part of northwestern Russia on Wednesday, marking the latest in a string of aviation accidents. The aircraft was flying a routine training mission in Russia's Murmansk region, which borders NATO's newest member Finland, when it crashed in a deserted area, state media outlet TASS reported, citing a statement from Russia's defense ministry. Both pilots ejected themselves. They were promptly evacuated by a search and rescue helicopter. Their lives and health are not at risk, the statement reads, according to TASS. It was not immediately clear what caused the aircraft to crash, though TASS, citing law enforcement, reported that one of the engines caught fire. There were no initial reports of civilian casualties.
Okay, there's more to read if you want to read the rest of it. And there's some videos there. I'm going to the next one now. This from Tag 24 News. Biden issues threat to North Korea in response to nuclear attack question.
Washington, D.C. U.S. President Joe Biden promised a nuclear attack by North Korea would spell the end of the regime in Pyongyang, as he hosted South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol at the White House on Wednesday. Look, a nuclear attack by North Korea against the United States or its allies or partners is unacceptable and will result in the end of whatever regime, were it to take such an action, Biden said at a press conference with Yoon in Washington. The president said they were strengthening military cooperation between Washington and Seoul, including more joint training exercises, intelligence sharing, and deployments of strategic U.S. capabilities such as nuclear-armed submarines. The U.S. has not docked one of its nuclear submarines in South Korea since the 1980s.
And there's more to read if you want to read the rest of it. I'm going to the next one now. This one here is from Mediate. Breaking. Jerry Springer dead.
Jerry Springer poses on the press line at a party celebrating the 100th episode of Dancing with the Stars in Los Angeles on Tuesday, May 6, 2008. AP photo/Dan Steinberg. Jerry Springer, icon of American television, died on Thursday at the age of 79, according to reports. Springer, the former Cincinnati mayor who hosted the Jerry Springer Show for nearly 3 decades, died at his home near Chicago after a brief battle with cancer, TMZ reported.
That's all I got on that one there. And I'm going to my last one here. This is from News. Chilling show of strength. Vladimir Putin sends 2 nuke bombers over the Baltic Sea and tense standoff with UK.
British and German warplanes recently intercepted a Russian fighter jet and nuclear bombers over the Baltic Sea near Britain in a tense standoff. It has been reported that 2 Russian Tu-160 nuclear bombers, known as White Swans, were seen skimming UK airspace, accompanied by a MiG-31 fighter, in a 14-hour mission. In response to this show of force, the Royal Air Force, RAF, and Luftwaffe, the German Air Force, dispatched Eurofighter jets to shadow the Russian formation. A similar mid-air encounter occurred last month when a US B-52 was tailed by a Russian Su-35 aircraft over the Baltic Sea. This marks the 3rd time in a week that Russia has deployed nuclear-capable aircraft and the 2nd within a 12-day period that they have cruised over the Norwegian Sea. The Russian Defense Ministry has defended its actions, saying that the airspace they patrolled was above neutral waters and in strict compliance with international airspace regulations. This series of provocative maneuvers have come after the superpower voiced its displeasure over Finland's joining NATO and started with the downing of an American drone over the Black Sea. Europe's skies are growing increasingly risky, with the US boosting its defensive operations, increasing the potential for conflict between Russia and NATO. Former Russian president and current politician Dmitry Medvedev recently warned of humanity standing on the brink of World War III, per The Sun. Speaking in Moscow, the once moderate head of state, now Putin ally, accused the West of taking the world to the brink of Armageddon. The Security Council deputy head also made it clear that Russia was prepared to resort to nuclear warfare to protect their state. Medvedev went on to warn that the threat of nuclear war was greater than that presented by climate change and added that the use of nuclear weapons when the very existence of Russia was under threat is in line with the country's doctrine.
So now he's talking about Armageddon now. We're getting there. Anyway, that's all I got for you for today. Remember, this is Alan for today's news. I will be reading, speaking about world news, interesting news to keep you entertained, and news to keep you informed. I hope I got some information for you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, at least come back once in a while, comment. And until next time, later.